bought a dumpster fire of a practice. Literally my first year, I'd offered to our chairs catch on fire.
Literally?
Inside. Came in, it smelled like smoke, 100% Medicaid when I bought it. It was doing about $1 million a year, but your net gross on that was not a lot. We had 4 operatories. The building was in shambles. It was brown. It hadn't been updated since 1985.
So it wasn't a bidding war is what I'm hearing.
They go, how would you like to buy this one?
We'll give it to you.
I walked in, I had a number in my head when I paid for it, and I was like, I'll pay $380,000 for this. And they're like, how about $240,000? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that worked.
Welcome back to another episode of My Dental Playbook. I'm your co-host, Gary Bird. I'm the owner of SMC National, where we help offices just like yours level the playing field against the big guys out there so you can grow the way that you want. And along with my friend, Dr. Blake Hamblin, we're diving deep into his office to watch as he crushes his goals to become a $10 million practice. Today's a special episode, though, because we filmed it live at the Dental Success Summit, and Dr. Blake received the Golden Rhino Award. It was awesome. Also, this particular episode is with Dr. Michael McKay, who we saw at the event, and he came on to share how he purchased a practice when he first graduated out of school, and he transitioned it from a Medicaid practice all the way to a juggernaut of a beast doing big, big things in a small, small town. He breaks down marketing, team, acquisition, all the things that you would want to know if you wanted to have the same kind of practice. This was a great episode. You're going to learn a ton from it. If you want to chat with us or learn more about these kind of things, we have our mastermind right down below. And as always, check out our sponsor, Cherry. If you're not using Cherry, you're missing out. Stay tuned. This is a great episode.
All right, we are here at the Dental Success Summit, and as you can tell, you can just feel the energy here. Dr. Blake just won the Golden Rhino Award with Dr. Cullen, one of the fastest growing practices. You 10x your new patients. We talk about it on the show all the time, but he actually really did it. And there's a lot of learnings from that. We'll talk more about that later. But how did you feel up there on stage accepting that award from Dr. Mark?
I mean, I was honored for sure, but I don't typically stand in front of a room in a room of 600 people and talk. So this morning I was a little bit nervous, but once I got up there, it was just like having a conversation with a friend. So
You looked really good up there too.
thank you.
And we have our friend Dr. Michael here. He's from Washington.
Washington,
Yeah, and we got to text last night. You like all the pheasants in your area and things like that.
and they're in my yard every morning. Yes, that and the doves and the owls and all kinds of good nature stuff. Yeah.
Yep. So he lives in a part of Washington that a lot of people don't know about, but he's built a really successful practice.
Yes.
Could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I think one of those things when you look at a lot of people think a small rural town is not going to be a great place to own a practice, but you do have less competition. And so then you look at a patient base, we have one doctor for every 3,000 to 5,000 patients in our area.
Wow.
So even though it's a low blue collar area as far as kind of like average gross income, we're in the poorest counties in the state. You just have a lot of patient base. And so as long as you can capitalize on that, you can really make a lot of growth really quickly. I did it all the wrong way, but you still can. If I think being in the right demographic situation makes it easier. So, when people are looking at like, should I go to a big city or small town? I think one of the hardest things about being in a small town is people want to live in a small town. It's great. You get a small sense of community. You don't have traffic. My work commute is 15 minutes to work every day, like clockwork. But like, how do you get successful and build a good quality of life? So dentistry actually provides a really nice platform for that because you can have a great quality of life in a very small town. And I think that's just awesome.
Well, I think one thing you've done, and as I've gotten to know you over the years, is just you're really strategic in how you do things and you understand your market really well.
Yeah.
Like our markets are very different, yet when we talk, we can always get to the same middle ground. And that's what I think is unique about both of our stories is like, how do you grow that large single location mega practice? A lot of times it's starting with knowing your market.
Yeah.
And knowing how to operate in it.
How'd you end up picking that particular location? Did you grow up there?
Nope. That's my wife wanted to live there. That's where she's from. So yeah, like, hey, happy wife, happy life. And I will tell right now, having grandmas within striking distance makes your life so much better. I wouldn't trade living in Yakima for someplace else. Just because of the family connections we have. It's been fantastic for my kids and my family and the quality of life. And also, I get to wake up every morning. I see Mount Adams and Mount Rainier in the background. So yeah, it's a gorgeous place to live.
Now, was it an acquisition or was it just a startup?
Man, so I bought a dumpster fire of a practice. Literally my first year, I had offertory chairs catch on fire.
Literally?
Inside, literally. They're like these Chinese chairs that barely worked. And we came in, it smelled like smoke, and we opened up one of the panels, and one of the chairs that actually caught on fire. It was 100% Medicaid when I bought it. It was doing about $1 million a year, but your net gross on that was not a lot.
Right.
And so I bought $1 million practice. It was, I mean, I could have probably made the same amount of revenue on like a $500,000 practice. We had 4 operatories. The building was in shambles. It was brown. It hadn't been updated since 1985. Like it was just.
So it wasn't a bidding war is what I'm hearing.
No. I actually was there for a job interview, and they said, "What do you want to do in a year or two?" And I said, "Well, I want to practice." They go, "How would you like to buy this one?"
We'll give it to you.
I walked in. I had a number in my head. Would I pay for it? And I was like, I'll bet $380,000 for this. And they're like, "How about $240,000?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess that works." So,
wow.
And so, yeah, I bought for $240,000. And then I was lucky enough to buy the building from the doctors that used to own it in town for $280,000 back in 10 years ago. So, yeah. So it was, that was great. And that was the start of my entrepreneurial career, was right from the get. So I never knew not owning a practice. And so I've always been, I never got the luxury of being an associate, which I would have loved to do actually, had like a year.
Yeah.
But in that respect, it's been a great growth pattern. And just after that, I just wish I would have had a group like DSI and had more friends like Blake and Colin that I could have talked to through this experience. That I would have rocket fuel. Because even from when I joined with these guys a few years ago, I mean, I was doing $250 a month, and we doubled that in the course of like 3 or 4 years. So if you actually look at my trajectory, it was very slow, then L-shaped, like a J-shaped curve.
Hockey stick. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, getting other people like you guys that help with marketing and getting people that can help you increase that curve, it doesn't have to take 10 years. You don't have to grind it out like I did. You could actually do it in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Well, and you can do it one of 2 ways. Like Colin talked about, just being in the right market and knowing, okay, there's not enough dentists to serve all these people. The smartest thing you could do is open up practices if people are just overwhelming practice 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Whereas in my market, going and adding more practice to an already saturated market can be a struggle, right?
That's a tough road.
Yeah. So for me, it's been, how do I spend more money to do that, right? But it returns. Like if you're doing the things right, it's not an expense, and it's an investment.
It's investment, yeah.
I think people look at marketing completely the wrong way when it comes to this industry. They took it as like a line item expense that's taking money from them. And I mean, there's obviously a metric for everybody. Like maybe in your town, you have to spend $30,000, $40,000 a month. In my town, maybe $4,000 to $5,000 makes sense.
Right.
You know, for the same size practice, the same size kind of things. I still do old school post marketing campaigns. I send postcards out because those old people love these postcards. They come in all the time, and I'm like, how'd you hear about my practice? And I have 20 of these cards coming in, and I'm like, I don't understand how this works. If people love it, they go, I've been watching your whole family grow up over the 10 years. So it's me and my kids on it, and they're like, they feel like they know me because they've watched my whole family grow up from 1 baby to 2 babies to 3 babies to little kids as they're getting bigger. And you know, especially in a small town, they love that kind of stuff.
So tell me a little bit about your growth from a new patient standpoint. When you bought it, how many new patients? So it's a handful of new patients?
No, I mean, since we were a Medicaid practice, it didn't matter.
Okay.
You say I accept Medicaid, you're going to have 130 new patients. Yeah. But they're not the patients, not saying the people themselves are the wrong type of patient.
Yeah.
But I was getting reimbursed $33 for an occlusal filling, $33 for an extraction. I can tell you
how much is the materials.
Yeah, I can tell you right now how hard you have to work when you want to do $5,000 in a day, making $60 an extraction. Plus, people needed 4 to 5 of them. So I'm making $300 a patient because I'm pulling 5 teeth.
Oh, right, man.
So are you
still doing Medicaid?
No, we're out of the Medicaid thing. But the thing it did teach me is kind of mixed blessing is I got to get really fast. Yeah. So I got really fast at doing dentistry. So now when I'm seeing a better patient base, as far as like people can do more work, man, I could fly. Yeah. So like sometimes you always say your greatest problems carrying your greatest strength later.
Well,
being in 100% Medicaid practice, where I literally was doing hundreds of fillings, hundreds of extractions every week. Yeah. Now when I'm like, oh, you want to do an extraction? Like this can take me about 35 seconds.
Now, I know you think of these patients as patients and you're always going to take care of the best you can of the people that are in front of you. But when you talk about it from like a marketing avatar standpoint of Medicaid versus fee for service or PPO, like it's a radical change of what you're dealing with. How did you deal with that transition?
So it was just slow. I mean, because I couldn't kill off the goose that was paying my life. You know, you got to pay the bills. So I couldn't just be like, all right, I'm cutting off all Medicaid. It would have drowned me. And I was also a little slow, you know, because it is a small town. I do like the people that are coming in.
Yeah.
And what insurance they had didn't really matter, but it was hard for me to actually turn that off because I've been seeing patients for 4 or 5 years,
Right.
and little kids I've been seeing for years. And I didn't turn off the kids Medicaid thing for like 2 years ago. It just was hard for me to say no to these group of like 15, 20 kids. I know it was a bummer. We had a lot of upset patients. So I finally stopped it.
Right.
But it was just kind of, I remember when I got my first insurance patient on the schedule, I was so happy. And we're still at PPO mostly
I
practice.
still only get 50%.
Yeah. I'm like, I remember I was like, guys, we had a different color on the schedule. This is a patient that has insurance.
Yeah.
Let's go. So we would move patients around to get them on. So it was just kind of like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And then, we had 50, 60, 70. So now we do about 120 new patients a month.
Yeah.
We still need to get more new patients just because we have the capacity to see more. So that's what we're working on now, is trying to figure out that metric and what we need to do to get that. But it's at this point, it's different strategies. You can't just do one. I think you have to be multimodal about how you market.
Right.
And it can't just be just Google. It can't just be this. It can't
Especially in your kind of market, you're a lot more rural. So there's only so many people searching for a dentist.
Yes.
Or if you run Facebook ads, you could hit everybody in 1 month.
Right.
Do like 100 times.
People complain that they see me too much. Like, they're like, I know you, and how do you know you? You're on my Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
$1,000 of Facebook ads that you act about. There's like, get off my feed.
Yeah, so you have to hit a lot of different angles. You have to hit the people who aren't on those platforms, who aren't searching for a dentist. Or are you reaching outside of your community, like pretty far?
Yeah, we go, for our specialty stuff, we do all in arch cases and dentures and implants. So we actually go sometimes as far as 100, 110 miles away, because we back up the mountain range. So the small mountain communities either can go west of Seattle or east to us. And most people rather come down east to come see us than go to the nightmare of Seattle. So it's you have to kind of broaden, but it depends on the market. Traditional patient, for implant patients, we have a wider scope.
Right.
We spend more money in different markets. So you just got to kind of pick.
Yeah. And I think just knowing, we as dentists, we don't take the time to really figure out what's working and then double down on that.
Yeah.
Like we think, we wasted $3,000 on that mailer campaign. Well, did we give it enough time? Did we try it? Did we have an offer that was actually worthwhile? Like, that's what I've found with working with Gary and SMC is like, the problem was the offer. Yeah. Nobody cares if you have a $399 cleaning. That's still expensive.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if you're giving away free whitening. What they care about is, can they come in and get the service that they think is really valuable for next to nothing?
Yeah.
And yes, you're going to have people that don't want the service, or they think they want more value out of that service. But most of the people that come through the door, they just needed a way to be able to come in and know that it wasn't going to cost $400.
Because they want to, because how the dentists see it a lot of times, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that, hey, I went to school for all this time, I invested all these loans, bought the business, and now I'm giving away this portion of treatment.
Right.
And it's kind of like a slap in the face. But how the patient sees it is, hey, I just want to come in and see if I want to go with this dentist.
Right.
And how do I do this without paying thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars?
Well, if you think about it, if you could try something before you buy it, that's all the time. Hey, free $10 for the first month, $20.
Yeah.
And so if you give a patient a low barrier to entry to come see you the first time, and you're right, your conversion rate on those patients is going to be lower than like an insurance patient. I can tell you for a fact that we're about 33% conversion rate for actually them accepting treatment for a cash patient coming on a $99 special versus we're like an 85 with an insurance patient.
Right.
But the thing is, like, when half the people don't have insurance, you're basically saying like, I'm only going to cater to the half the people that have insurance. Right. No, you got to cater to everybody.
Oh, yeah, it's a very powerful point.
There's also the other point too, that you also get market for the bigger ticket items like the all-in-X case and stuff. And those are by and large cash patients. Even if they have insurance, it's basically a cash patient.
Yeah.
And the conversion rate's nothing, but the ROI is like,
what I've found too is a lot of these patients that even have insurance, they see the $49 special and they still come in because of the $49 special, right? But what you're really doing is you're building a practice that can revolve around both insurance because you take it.
Correct.
And non-insurance because now the people that don't have insurance have a way of getting in the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you can quite literally build a practice that the rest of the dental world will say that you can't do.
Yeah.
Because they don't take your insurance.
Yeah.
Well, no. You just have to give them a way to make them pay.
Yeah,
make them feel that they can afford the dentistry, right?
100%. I try to make it a little more sticky too with the membership plan. Right. So we don't get a lot of the cash patients converting, but we probably got 150 people now on a membership plan. And that makes them a lot more sticky because once they've already paid into the system, they show up for their cleanings. And I think for me, I was actually listening to Alex Hamurdi, who was talking about this, is that getting them back to the second visit is the most crucial step. And that's actually what I've been focusing on recently is how do I get you back for a second visit? So I didn't care if you didn't spend any money. How can I get you back for a second visit? So that's actually what I'm dwelling my little head on right now. How do I get more of those patients to only show up for one?
Because your retention rate goes through the roof once you get to the second. So you have to remove all the friction in the first step in the second.
Yeah, I'll tell myself, like, well, we should give them a $99 patient special again if that really is going to help. Like, how can we get them to be a little stickier? And so that's what I'm working on right now. So
that's great.
When I crack that nut, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know, there's dentists out there. There's a lot of dentists, and Mark actually talked about this morning, that are really struggling because the game has changed as far as dentistry goes.
Sure.
Insurances are reimbursing less. Labor's up. Inflation's up 32%. Patients are accepting less treatment overall. It's harder to keep your team. So the game that we were playing pre-COVID is not the same game as we're playing now. From a business standpoint, what would you tell to those dentists that are out there that are kind of stuck in that old model, and now we're having to move to the new model? What would you say to them to help them change their paradigm shift?
I would say the core things I recognize in most new dentists that I feel that they need to shift in their own thing is, first off, their own skill sets.
Yeah.
I can't tell how many people I've talked to that refer out endo. And I go, you're referring out molar endo and you're telling me you can't make money in your practice?
Right.
How many cases do you refer out this month? I've heard out 15 cases. I go, so you just let $15,000 walk out and you're saying you're struggling? So that's 180 grand a year. So you just said you don't want your kids to have an extra 180 grand a year. That's great. Do you want to learn molar endo? It's boring. Oh, it's boring. I get it. Molar endo is boring.
Yeah, boring.
But same thing, but skill set up on implants, skill set up on yourself. And then you can also communicate that to the rest of your team, and you can teach and coach your associates so they come on board.
Yep.
And so you can be like, no, I'm the guy that knows how to do everything. So you can fall back on me. That's going to help in the long term. In the short term, I mean, if you have a patient walking in that needs an implant, and you're referring that out down to the oral surgeon, you're just giving the crown when you could have got the implant, bone graft, extraction, guided tissue, and all in one bundle. And you can do it the same day because they walk in and you finance them with Cherry and you're slam dunk that case for $6,000. That is what you need to be doing. So if you don't have that skill set, you don't have even that opportunity. So you don't even get that back because you can't even swing the club. Right. So let's make sure you have enough tools in your tool set first. Then you can also say, I need to layer on the rest of the marketing and the business manager piece. But man, if you got to be an animal when it comes into the chair, you got to be able to do like 99% of stuff. I get it. You don't want to do sinus lifts. I don't like them either. Fine. But you should be able to do implants and molar endo and feel very comfortable in those procedures and be able to talk to the patient and communicate that, because that's patients in pain and that's same day treatment.
Right.
Yeah. Today, I'm going to put an implant on you today.
That's right.
Not tomorrow, not in 3 months, not in 6 months. Today. Oh, you want to do today? I got my cone beam. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. I think for me,
so that's a mouthful right there.
No, yeah, that's great. I think for me, specifically for the owners, what I see are people that don't really know their numbers, and they're intimidated by what those numbers will be. And we live in a world now where you can get an answer in 10 seconds if you just get on Claude or chat and just put your P&L on there and ask it to show you where the holes are. And that's where I've had the biggest change in my business, is where I can really look at my numbers and say, if I turn this knob just a little bit, it makes a radically different change.
Yeah.
And I think if more dentists understood that more profitability is sitting right under their nose, if they made a few changes, that their life...
Every practice is sitting on money, like a boatload of money, that for sending a text or an email or different treatment. Also, you said something that you said on stage that was very powerful. You said, focus on one or two numbers. I think dentists are very analytical by nature, because you have to be a dentist, right? And you get all these numbers and you try to fix all the numbers, you're cooked. Like because one number goes up, what does it do to the other number? It makes the other number go down. So just figure out what the most important one or two numbers are and go all in on those.
That's right. Yeah.
What are your one or two numbers that are, I mean, you're getting pretty big these days. So like, what's your one or two numbers that really
well, Gary knows this, but I'm focused on active patient count. And that's really all that matters.
I'm like, chill on the new patients. He's all, I need more active patients. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So like, to me, that's the only thing that matters to me right now. I've gone as far as telling him, like, I don't even care what the ROI is, which I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Yeah.
But
you get your point across.
What I mean is that, like, at the end of the day, even if I broke even, which we wouldn't, but even if I did, I would be okay with that, because I know the snowball is getting so much bigger that I'm building for, like what Colin was talking about. I'm building for a future for tomorrow, not today. Right?
Yeah. If you have a big hygiene department, you own the future. You have a recurring business model that's going to work now.
That's right.
What for you, Dr. Michael, what does the future look like for you? Like, what are the numbers that you're focusing on right now, and what's your kind of next step in business?
Yeah, I mean, so for me right now, I'm looking at personally, I want to step back a little bit from the chair because having those, I did basically 10 years of dentistry in 3 years when I first started, so I'm already feeling it. But
How many doctors do you have?
we got 3 of us.
Okay.
And so my main goal is actually to get my doctors to be me as far as in the chair. I want them to be the animals out there, having a great time doing the big complex cases. I don't want to be taking from them. I want them to be having the skill set and the excitement. So that's part of it. As far as kind of like just practice growth and where that's going, I just want to continue to make our systems better. I'm a big believer in like a one big location kind of guy. So we have 12 ops. So we're a decent sized practice. I don't really
How
plan
many
on.
hygienists?
We have 7 right now.
Okay.
One's a restorative hygienist, which if you can have restorative hygiene, that's a game
huge in
changer.
Washington, right?
Yeah. It's like having a mini associate you pay.
Yeah.
Not quite as much, but still quite a bit. So for me right now, I'm focusing on new patient count, trying to get a new patient count so we can make sure that we can keep all the columns full, busy. We've seen a little bit of decline in Washington State, especially in our area. It's rural, like I said, and it's the expenses are going up. People are getting paid less. So we've noticed
People are
that
kind of leaving the city and coming out to the rural, right? And that's driving things up. Is that
no, it's just the cost of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, like just fuel. I mean,
normal inflation?
if you think about it, if you're a person that makes $20 an hour, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. You make $20 an hour, gas is $6. So it's just to fill up your car costs you your day's worth of work. And then I'm telling you, you need a $500 crown,
Right.
and you just and you went from $3 gas to $6 gas. It sounds simple, but realistically, and you have patients living on the line.
Yeah.
The average person can only afford a $400, can't even afford a $400 emergency.
Correct.
So they're walking to my office. I'm telling them it's $2,000, and they can't afford $400.
Right.
So like whenever you have these marginal changes, now we're working in this new field of what can we do as the economy is getting tighter, at least in my market, what can we do to continue our growth while things are shrinking? So that means more volume, chasing better.
Are you doing patient financing? Do you do?
Oh yeah.
How do you do that? Like, walk me through that.
So we actually pre-qualify everybody that walks through the door because you can do that with Cherry. You can know just with their name, birth date. There's no social security number, anything like that. You don't find out if they're qualified or not. So they're already pre-qualified before they even walk in the door. At least we know they can get it.
Right.
Every patient gets offered financing every time. I don't care if it's for a $50 family. Like, would you like financing for that?
That's right.
And so, people say no, but the thing is, it happens too. If you offer financing to everybody, they'll tell you no I can't tell you, people tell me no, I'm going to pay cash. Then they walk in the day of, and they say, hey, can I hook up that Cherry? If you didn't offer them that financing, they didn't know that was an available option, then they're going to cancel their appointment, not keep it. But they know in the back of their head, hey, that water heater just blew up, but I still didn't get this tooth fixed.
Right.
They have financing. Let's go monthly payments,
So
guys.
true.
Yeah. So monthly payments is also a big focus because I don't want to talk to people about $10,000. I want to talk about it's going to be $100 a month.
Yeah.
Blake Atcher is the one that turned me out of that. He sent me this whole little packet, and it was beautiful and it was great. And so I stripped it down and made it worse and uglier. And
There you go.
There are colors on it.
yeah, I did. I pretty much just copy paste, and then I'm like, hey guys, we have this great thing.
Here's a system.
Look what I did. Yeah. So I mean, that's a great part about actually, Mark was talking about getting in front of people. Nobody's going to send you that over because you're on a Facebook group together. But if you're talking to somebody live and you're looking in the eye, like, hey man, can you help me? And they're like, yeah, man, let me send you something.
Yeah, so good.
So yeah.
Any more questions?
I think it's great. I love Mike. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
He's built a great business.
I know you're shy, so I appreciate you.
Oh, well, I
appreciate us. Yeah.
I
Really quiet.
But the humbling part too is that I'm 42, Blake's in his early 30s, and I just see their career trajectory. Like by the time you're my age,
They're going to be like president,
I just
world domination.
I always say I just can't wait for them to send the G5 for me. So to come pick me up. We have a small airport. It's fine, guys.
That's so awesome. You're crushing it. I really appreciate you coming on. This event is awesome. And hopefully other dentists can watch this kind of content and learn from it and figure out that you can be really, really successful. It's hard, but it is out there, and it doesn't matter what market you're in or what model you have, you can make it work.
Yeah, those are fun too.
It is.
It's way business is way more fun. Yeah.
It's more fun.
I mean, you have more money.
Yeah, money always helps.
Yeah, money helps.
They always say they can't fix problems, but I find that to be very untrue.
It fixes problems. Yeah, fixes all the money problems.
Yeah, all the
100%.
Yeah. Awesome.